This podcast is brought to you by Salt River Pictures.
Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, isn't it?
Hello there.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Stay on target.
Dylan! Son of a bitch.
Welcome to the Salt River Movie Club.
Okay, cool. Time to record a podcast, guys. Oh, man, I gotta say, I'm really excited to be watching Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny, starring Kyle Gass, directed by Liam Lynch, which was released in 2006.
Jake, no.
I've been resisting that film for a long time, but you guys have really...
Jake!
Jake. What?
I'm afraid we've got some news for you about that.
Really? No. Really?
So we were having a wee look, and we struggled to find it on anything in the UK. So,
but we researched it. It was on Amazon Prime. We were going to rent it.
It looks like
it's
Tenacious D
region
it's region locked. It's banned in the UK.
Okay, so what we're watching instead then?
Don't freak out, okay? It's an old movie that we all have seen as kids.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's got the nostalgia goggles on at the moment, but everyone says it's a really bad movie.
Okay.
It came out in 1998. Oh god, it's Godzilla.
The 1950s Godzilla. Oh, excellent! I'm looking forward to this one. This is the old black and white, old classic, old shoddy effects. Cool. Okay, that's a good
Jake.
classic thing.
No, Jake. It's a bit.
What?
It came out a bit later than that.
Yeah.
It's the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm really sorry.
It's the worm guy.
Oh no.
Come on, Jake.
Hello and welcome back to the Salt River Movie Club podcast.
Hi.
Hello. How's it going with you all? This is the podcast that is probably about to piss off about 70 years worth of Godzilla fandom, but we'll see how this goes, shall we? Yes. This is Salt River Movie Club. We are three members of the band Salt River Shakedown. We do blues rock, classic rock, that kind of thing. But this podcast is not about that band. This podcast is about movies we love, and sometimes movies that we don't love. I'm really hoping today's episode is not a movie that we do not love. I'm really hoping we don't watch this movie and immediately regret everything. Yes. Joining me today, we have a guitarist, the Shredmeister. Sometimes he plays so fast, it's like he has three heads, much like a three-headed dragon. It's our very own Ghidorah, Alec McMillan.
I did not know about this. Oh, why didn't anyone tell me about this before?
How are you doing today, Ghidorah, Alec McMillan?
I am good. Now that I know this, I will eat 3 bowls of cornflakes at the same time.
Cool. And you're wearing a plaid shirt again. I like the dedication.
This is what we're doing.
Nice.
Cool. It's just red. You can't really describe that color. It's just red.
It's red.
Much like your dragon breath.
Typical lumberjack t-shirt. Sure.
Yeah. And over here we have a bassist who he's slapping. It's machine like. It's almost mechanical. You could call him our very own Mecha Godzilla. How you doing today, Sean Kilner?
Mecha Sean Kilner.
Mecha Sean Kilner.
Yeah. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm
excellent.
Right.
And once again, you guys, I don't know if you're doing this intentionally at this point, but Sean, you are wearing a movie t-shirt.
I think I'm intentionally doing it now.
Okay. I like that you don't know for certain. You just yeah. Okay. So if you don't know already, this podcast is, as the title suggests, it is a movie club. You are encouraged to watch along with us. We're watching a different movie on each episode. Come out every 2 weeks, so twice a month. Plus maybe some bonus episodes coming soon. But we watch one movie in each episode, and you're encouraged to watch along. We let you know the movie at the end of previous episodes, and on social media and all that stuff. So you're encouraged to watch along. So today we are watching, as stated already, the 1998 Godzilla movie.
Yes.
But we will get to that in a little bit. So yes, hope you have watched it, because that is what we are doing today. Thank you if you've been downloading the recent episodes. The Onward episode has not come out as of recording this, so we shall see how that goes. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but yes, Thank you if you've been downloading them so far.
Yes.
They've had a good reaction.
Thank you very much.
Definitely a few listeners in Canada, so thank you for that.
Hello.
Yes, so let's start, as we normally do, with what have we been watching? Sean, you start this week.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
Not watching per se. I've been still trekking through the Resident Evil games. I just finished 6.
Okay, the infamously terrible one.
Exactly. That I need therapy after that. I recently got a big fuck off hard drive for the PlayStation, so I've been downloading all my games for like the last 3 or 4 days straight. So
Nice.
I now have a big backlog of things. I don't really do much else. What else did I do? I've been learning new stuff on the bass as well. Trying to learn how to do
Bass.
tapping. Actually, is the thing I'm doing right now.
Tapping. I thought you meant like tap dancing while playing bass.
I mean, I can tap dance. It's a weird
If you could do
obscure
both
fact.
at the same time,
I wouldn't be
you could-
surprised.
Well, thank you.
You should get you like a mic, like at foot level, and you can tap dance and play bass at the same time. And,
I will try that.
yeah, that'd be fun.
What else have I been doing? I'm trying to think what else I've been doing. Oh, the song I'd used to learn how to tap was Make Total Destroy by Periphery. So, in case anyone is out there vaguely interested in that.
Yeah. I still thought you were talking about tap dancing.
Yeah.
It's like that. Wow, that must be hard. Nice.
Apart from
So
that,
you know,
nothing.
have you watched anything like actually like watched or?
Not that I can remember. It might
This
come
is,
to me later.
this is the total meme of this podcast. It's like every week, like Sean doesn't watch anything; he just plays games.
Yeah, but they're kind of like movies, but interactive. So
I
Interactive.
suppose they are. That's true. Maybe we'll go through all the terrible Resident Evil movies at some point. That'll be
can we
good.
please just
be a
for
fun
me,
time.
no for no one else that listens to this podcast, just me, just so I can listen back and listen to us all get really angry.
We'll see how it goes. The first one's genuinely all right.
The first one and Retribution, I'll argue, are the 2 best ones. The rest are all garbage.
Yeah. Alec, what have you been watching?
Let me see. What have I been watching? Let's deep dive into the world of what I have been watching. I have been watching Schitt's Creek. If you haven't seen that, it's really funny.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It starts off slow, but it's hilarious.
If there's one thing that people say about that show, it's always like, the first season's a bit shit, but like,
It gets funny. It gets randomly good. You're like, hang on, this was maybe just like a wee, like easy to watch thing. I've revisited Clone Wars, so I'm restarting
Excellent.
that kind of mid-season 6. So,
Cool.
aye,
Cool.
that's
Okay.
about it.
Cool. Nice. Okay. What have I been watching? I've been watching more of animated Star Trek. That's the kind of person I am. It's a lot of fun. It's super silly. I love the way that like because it's animation, they have a little bit more control over the pace of Shatner's dialogue. He can't usually take his 20 years to get out of line.
So does he voice it as well?
Yeah, no, it's all the original cast, which is pretty cool. It just genuinely just feels like normal Star Trek, but cartoon and really bad cartoon.
Amazing.
But it's good fun. What else have I been watching? Last night I watched shit, what was it? I've completely forgotten the name of it now. Oh my god, actually I've completely forgotten the name of the movie. It doesn't matter. I watched the movie last night.
What was that
Well,
about?
that's good to know. I'm glad to hear.
Yes, no, it was called You Were Never Really Here. It's a Joaquin Phoenix movie about. I described it as if Leon was directed by the guy who made Drive. It's really good. It's very experimental, weird, artsy film, but it's good fun. Actually, it's not good fun. That's a bad way of describing it. It's not a fun movie at all. It's really disturbing, in fact. But Joaquin Phoenix plays like a hitman, basically, who specializes in like rescuing kids that have been kidnapped, and
All right.
and it deals with like sort of an abusive childhood that he went through and things like that. And it's
Right, yeah.
yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Nice.
It's not for everyone, but it's really good. Yeah, that's what we've been watching. We blasted through that a little quicker than usual.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So
But yeah,
since we're watching the old 98 Godzilla, what is your like favorite Godzilla movies. Since there's, how many did you say there was before we even started
There's
recording?
36.
36. I've seen maybe 3.
Yeah,
I've seen 2. This one and the new one.
Yeah, I've seen this one we're watching today, the 2014 Gareth Evans one, and the sequel to that, King of the Monsters, which is
I love King of the Monsters.
Really, do you?
I enjoy it because the roar. That's all I needed.
It's a good sound effect.
Oh, the soundtrack's excellent as well.
No, well, no, that is a good sound effect, but that, to be fair, that does come from the previous movie. But yeah, it is a good sound effect. Yeah.
The only other one I've seen above those two is Final Wars, because I just wanted to see the scene where the original Godzilla kicks the living hell out of the American Godzilla. That's the only reason I watched that movie. And some 41s in it as well. Well, their soundtrack. They were part of the soundtrack.
Of course they are.
Because why not?
Yeah, we should at some point like go back and do the original like 54 one.
That's
like
fun.
I've heard a lot of people talk about it's more than you expect it to be. It's not just a big monster destroying shit. It's got messages about like a nuclear war and shit like that in it, and it's genuinely quite interesting apparently. But yes, today we are watching. Wait, actually, Alec, you've not said what's your favorite?
Well, I've got an affinity with this movie in particular. I think it came out the year I was born, and it's just like, here we go.
Good God, you're young.
Young man.
So yes, today we are watching the 1998 Godzilla. This is a movie directed by Roland Emmerich. It's written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. It stars Matthew Broderick, Maria Pitillo, I think that's how you pronounce that. Jean Reno, Hank Azaria, Kevin Dunn, and Harry Shearer. And we poked fun at the fact that this is not a very liked movie in our little skit intro thing. This is genuinely true. So when I was doing research on this last night, I typed in just Godzilla, just to see how quickly it came up. And Google does this little auto-generated movies tab thing, and it just came up with Godzilla as the franchise, and you click movies, and it gives you a list of 31 Godzilla movies. How far up the results do you reckon this movie was?
I think number 1.
I'm going to say...
You think it's the number 1 most searched Godzilla?
I'm gonna say, but maybe 5th or 6th, because it was quite popular when it came out.
It's got to be a big number. I mean, it was a big blockbuster in America. Come on.
It's not there. This movie is so disliked that Google deems it not worthy of the top 31 Godzilla.
Wow.
Are you having a laugh?
Oh my God.
I'm not joking, man. It took me a while to find it for that reason. I had to specifically search for it.
That poor lizard.
Yes, it is currently sitting at 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of brutal.
That's bad.
That is bad. However, the thing is, people are going to hate us, especially hardcore Godzilla fans, but this movie, I think, for all of us, is a nostalgia thing, because this came out at the right. This was for all of us our first Godzilla movie, right?
100%, 100%. Yeah,
or at least the first, like a first big one, and it's. I don't think it's that bad. However, I've not watched it in about 15 years, so I guess we shall see.
I'm sad to
terrified.
say I have definitely rewatched this movie more times than I should say. I enjoy this movie. It's like, when you don't realise that a movie's hated and you're just in your own wee bubble, you're just like, this is great. Like, and then everyone else hates it. You're like, oh, okay.
That's the thing. I had no idea of this movie's reputation until like not that long ago. I kind of assumed it was quite well liked, but
I mean, when it comes to this movie, I see a lot of the movies that I like, a lot of people hated. I remember all of us sitting in KFC having an argument about Cloverfield, and for the same reason.
I like Cloverfield.
We loved Cloverfield. My ex at the time absolutely hated it, and it was really funny.
What I can say is that I do think I didn't enjoy like the latest reimagining of Godzilla, like the one with Bryan Cranston in it and all that. I thought it was the special effects and all that and the CGI was good, but the story was terrible. And I do think that the story in this one is better or done. Yeah. So maybe if the CGI, I mean, obviously the CGI won't be as good as
gonna
like
be dated.
the recent ones, but I think it will still, hopefully in my mind, the story will hold up over the new ones, and that's what's important to me anyway. So.
I hope so. Yeah, this is one of those ones that you're just always a little bit worried to revisit. I think like, you're kind of like, is it shit? Like, have I remembered this wrong?
See, when I think
like,
about it as well, the CGI is good. I think the only bit that I can remember as being a wee bit dodge is at the end with like all the baby spawn.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh.
There is a lot of like,
the
puppets and costumes still in this.
Yeah,
film,
yeah.
like,
You know the kind of Velociraptor Godzilla's at the end, basically.
Yeah.
Well.
I don't know. I'm excited to see this again. I think it'll be a fun time at the very least. But it's got to have this reputation for a reason. So I guess we shall see.
It's gonna
It
be
maybe
a
helps
win,
it, to be fair, that none of us have seen the original movie. Like we probably don't have that kind of perspective.
Totally.
on
That's
it.
true,
No,
yeah.
I don't think either three of us are like massive Godzilla like fans or like you know
No.
what I mean, like, but
I would like to be. I really want to
Yeah, yeah.
go back and watch some of the classic ones, but
Yeah,
I think
so,
it's be one of those things. So you'd go back and watch a classic, you'd be like, these are a bit shitty.
yeah, possibly. Yeah.
And there goes the last of the Godzilla fans.
Of no fault of their own, I'm sure they were very, very forward thinking and like ahead of their time.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it is difficult watching these things back sometimes when you're used to the big CGI spectacles that you see in cinema.
I know.
Yeah, maybe a
But
wee bit.
for those of us, for those of you out there that don't know, we are what is known as a youngin.
A youngin.
A youngin.
So,
Or millennials,
yeah,
goddammit.
we're millennials. We're those people. So
Yeah.
our perspective on this is maybe a little bit skewed, but
Yeah.
but no, we like this movie. We hope, and we're going to get into it now. I'm a little worried, but we shall see how this goes. It should make an interesting discussion at the very least.
It will indeed.
You know, having this kind of perspective on it.
Yes.
So yes, 1998 Godzilla. Like I said earlier, this is Movie Club. You're encouraged to watch along. So if you haven't seen this movie and you care, you maybe pause it now.
care.
Pause the podcast.
It's on
Pause
Netflix.
this podcast now. It's on Netflix, or it should be.
As of recording this, it is.
Yep.
Yes. Movies drop off Netflix like flies, so it's hard to say.
I can defo see this one being struck off Netflix. Like I was gonna, I was
Very
surprised it was even there, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I know. But yeah, 1988 Godzilla.
woo! Here we go.
Matthew Broderick, Hank Azaria.
Dr. Nico Papadopoulos? It's Totopoulos. Whatever. Come on, get these people off of the pier! Excuse me, sir. Do you mind telling me what I'm doing here? What's your step? Don't talk to anybody. Come on, get them off the damn pier! What is all this? Some kind of spill? Yeah, something like that. Look, I work for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, but accidents and spills are not my field. We know! Do you know you've interrupted a 3-year study of the Chernobyl earthworm?
Yeah, you're the worm guy, right?
The radioactive contamination in that area has mutated the earthworm's DNA. You know what that means?
No, but I got a feeling I'm about to find out.
It means that because of a man-made accident, the Chernobyl earthworms are now 17% larger than they were before.
17%, huh? Sounds pretty big.
They're enormous. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm a biologist. I take radioactive samples and I study them.
That's great. Here's your sample. Study it.
What sample?
Nice. Yes, we've just watched 1998 Godzilla, directed by Roland Emmerich, and it ends with Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, or at least like a hip hop cover of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Puff Daddy version, yeah.
Puff Daddy. Yes. Yes, we are back. Yes, good.
back.
We've been watching Godzilla. Hope you have watched Godzilla. If you have not watched Godzilla yet, this is your final spoiler warning, as signified by the spoiler alarm. The spoiler alarm has sounded. This time, this is your final spoiler warning.
You've had 23 years to watch this movie. If it's been spoiled for you, then
Yes, no one cares about spoilers for this movie, but this is my opportunity to try out the spoiler alarm, which will now be a recording thing.
Yay.
So yeah, first of all, how do we feel about what we just watched.
I feel exhausted.
I'm actually
yeah.
exhausted as well.
It was definitely more of a slog than I remember it being. But yes, Sean, yes. So like, what are your general thoughts at the end of that?
See, like, I have so much nostalgia for this film. I remember watching the animated series as well. I had quite a few toys from it when I was a kid. But like watching it again, it was nice to watch, but towards the end, it was starting to get a little tiresome. I was like, right, cool, we've still got all this to go, kind of feeling.
Yeah. It was like, it's an average length movie by today's standards, but didn't quite have the pacing to
Exactly,
justify
yeah.
that, I think.
Felt like a good hour could have been cut out of it, and it would still have been the same movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't. Nothing plot wise happens in the last hour and a half.
No, it just becomes this long chase sequence.
There's one
God.
bit where you're supposed to feel sad for big Mamazilla because
Big mammy. Big
Yeah.
mammy.
so there's a couple of wee sorrowful filled moments where you're like, oh no, but then like
Yeah.
other than that, it's like okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all right.
So like I'm kind of in a similar like area with you guys. Like it's not as good as I remember it being. However, it's definitely not terrible.
No,
It's really does not deserve the reputation it's got as like the worst Godzilla film. Like it's okay. Like it's you know, it's fun.
how do you think it stands up as a fun monster movie compared to the 2014 one?
Yeah, so like this is definitely more fun. Like if that's what you're going to Godzilla movie for, this is a more fun movie.
I feel like with this movie, it's not. It's more the fun bit is more concentrated on the like the characters like having jokes and like it's kind of got fun.
Yeah.
It's got kind of funny dialogue, and then maybe the Godzilla part's a wee bit lacking. To what
Maybe
you
a
would
little
normally
bit,
meant to
yeah.
be, but then like if you're just like a mentally like super Godzilla fan, then going to see the new one which focuses on the more original design, then that would be more your bag. But
Yeah, like it feels like the Gareth Evans one is a little more faithful to what Godzilla was originally, where it you know, it's a metaphor for nuclear war. It's you know all that stuff. So brief plot run through. You don't need to know much for this movie, but it's you know it's what you'd expect. It's the American version of Godzilla. It's definitely not the Japanese version. Vague nuclear testing is happening at the start of the film.
in French Polynesia.
Which leads to the creation of a giant lizard man. And he runs havoc through New York, and then you have Nick Tatopoulos. Is that how you?
Tatopoulos.
It's Tatopoulos.
It's Tatopoulos. I love that there is that gag throughout the movie, but I legitimately can't remember his name.
That's the joke. I don't think you're supposed to. That's the joke.
No, Nick Tatopoulos, played by Matthew Broderick, who is the worm guy. He is like a biologist, I think he says.
Yeah, he's like it seems like he's very anti-nuclear war and that kind of stuff, but
As everyone
he's managed
should be.
Yeah, but yeah, totally. But he's definitely not a military guy, but he's found his way there into the military so that he can affect some sort of change. That's what he wants to do anyway.
Yeah, and at the start of the movie, he's doing his worm thing, and his job is not explained that well. He basically just studies worms. That seems to be his entire thing.
I don't think it's just worms. I think you see him study worms at the start, but I think it's maybe all life round about nuclear zones, which is probably mostly little biological creatures.
He's studying the way that nuclear power has affected animals and stuff. Basically, it's not explained very well.
It's very vague. Worm guy.
The worm guy. He's the worm guy. And one of my earliest notes in the film I had was, it feels like they just took Matthew Broderick, who is most famous for playing ultra cool Ferris Bueller, and just like, wouldn't it be fun if we just made him a total dweeb?
Yeah, totally. Because Matthew Broderick like can be a smooth badass character, but yeah, totally.
And then we're introduced to angry, shouty military man played by Kevin Dunn.
Yes.
I believe that is his official name. And who kind of brings him in and just like, hey, look at this dinosaur thing we found. Then there's a flirty lady who I don't believe is ever. Like, I can't remember if she's ever named in the film, but she's flirty lady,
ginger-haired flirty lady who's terrible at acting.
Yeah, she's awful. I can't
you kind
remember
of find that out throughout the movie as well. It's like when you first see her and she's like flirting with the worm guy, then you're like, okay, and then it's like, oh no, like she does like a serious. There's like one serious line where she have, and she just goes da 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 da, and then you're like, hang on.
Yeah, Alec did a confused face, by the way, for the folks at home that can't see him right now.
I did.
Yeah, there's definitely some mixed messaging about like, is Totopoulos meant to be a dweeb, or is he meant to be super suave guy? Because every female character in this film is just constantly flirting with him.
I know, it's like a weird in between. It's like, it's like he secretly is a dweeb, but he's still Ferris Bueller, like everyone knows.
I know. It's weird. It's like, is that what gets people going? Being a worm guy? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. Yes, and then there's also his ex college girlfriend who we find out he proposed to, who is now a reporter, and she's
she's not a reporter. She's not a reporter.
Well,
she's a fake reporter.
Yes, she's working for a news station, and she's trying to become a reporter. And all this stuff that's going on that no one really cares about, but the movie spends quite a lot of time on it. And yes, basically, who else? There's also Jean Reno as Philippe. The Frenchest man in the world, as Jean Reno always plays, but he's
French
fantastic.
man. We had the highlight of this film.
He's so good.
We had an insane running gag where he has to say that he's French at every single possible moment he's on screen.
To be fair, the joke started because the movie misses no opportunity to remind you that this guy is French.
That's true.
It's like every time he's on screen, he's like, "Where's my croissant?" There's not enough. These American things. It's like, I am French. This is way better.
He hates Americans, and it's so funny.
Yeah, he's constantly asking for cups of coffee. You know, it's incredible. And also him and his French buddies always look like they're from the 70s for some reason, and every scene with them looks like it's filmed on a 70s camera. It's really strange. Yes, Frenchest man in the world. He's awesome. Jean Reno is always badass and things. Yeah, he's great. And they discover that the Godzilla is reproducing asexually and has laid a bunch of eggs underneath Madison Square Garden. So these various people, through a long series of circumstances, end up going into Madison Square Garden together, and the eggs hatch, and then they kill the babies, and then
those monsters.
Yes, and then Godzilla is pissed and chases them for a long, long time.
An undeterminately long time.
Yes. So yeah, that is a general run through of the plot. Yeah. So yeah. Yes. What do we have to say? We were all immediately very nostalgic. I have to say, like, this is the thing. Like, I think a large part of our kind of warmth towards this film is nostalgia. Like, there's kind of no getting around it. Like,
100%.
Like even over the TriStar logo at the start. I remember this.
So good.
Which is good. Some good points. I liked at the start the kind of mixing in of real nuclear like test footage, and mixing that in with shots of lizards and stuff
iguanas.
Like that. Which is about the extent of the movie's attempt to address the nuclear war aspect of Godzilla. Like that opening scene is about it.
Totally.
Guys, feel free to jump in anytime.
Yes. It's interesting. We're definitely talking a lot about how this movie looked, because it's like 90s, and it's like it's just like it's got that kind of soft feel to it, and they just don't make movies like that anymore. It's so nice.
Yeah, there is a nice 90s-ness to it, which I do appreciate, especially evident considering that there is multiple Simpsons actors in this.
Yes, I know. There must have been some sort of casting person that was involved in Simpsons as well as this movie?
I don't know, because there's Harry Shearer who plays the news anchor in this, who is also known for playing Kent Brockman, the news anchor from The Simpsons, as well as Mr. Burns and a bunch of other characters. The actress who plays Bart,
Nancy Cartwright.
think.
It is 100%.
Is it her? Yeah,
100%. Because I've looked up interviews before and seen things. As soon as Sean said that, I was like, oh my God. Like,
Nancy Cartwright.
She's there. And then, of course, Hank Azaria, who's best known for playing Apu, as well as a bunch of other characters in Simpsons, including Mo the bartender and people like that.
Yeah.
Mo Sislak.
I gotta say, Hank Azaria and Jean Reno are definitely the highlights of this film.
They steal the show.
Absolutely.
Matthew Broderick is highly underwhelming in this movie.
He really is.
He's not good. He's not good in this movie.
You're not wrong.
No, he's not.
He's so expressionless, and he's like thick for a scientist. He's he's like, oh, that's a footprint. Oh, it's like, it's like connect the dots.
Yeah, it's
Matthew, please.
He's constantly doing very big kind of surprised faces, and
he's just constantly surprised by everything that's happening.
Yeah. I like Matthew Broderick in general, but like he's not a great actor. He's just he's fun and enjoyable to watch, but
he's a bit lackluster in this movie.
Yeah, in this one in particular, not as bad as his ex, who seems to have the intelligence of a 4-year-old in this film.
Yeah,
every scene she's like, "What's that? What's happening here? What's going on over there?"
One bit they're literally let's grab a tea and I can explain the whole movie to you. Just
that actually happens.
Okay.
There's a mixed bag in terms of acting, but it's that kind of movie. It's fine, directed by Roland Emmerich, who is of course the disaster movie king. Made a bunch of good and terrible ones.
What other movies has he done then?
I can't remember specifically which one. Let me just get up his IMDb here. He's involved in like Day After Tomorrow, for example. I think he writes and produces a lot of these.
I love that movie.
That's a good Day After Tomorrow's good. Yeah, I do like Day After Tomorrow, definitely. He directed Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh no!
2012. Yeah, the original Independence Day as well. But yeah.
Oh, did he do that? Oh, did he do original Independence Day?
Yeah.
What a legend! Best movie of all time.
Yeah. Day After Tomorrow, 2012, White House Down.
He did all right. Okay, he did 2012 and all that. Okay.
Yeah,
I know this guy. I know this guy.
Yeah, this is what he's known for. It's kind of just big cheesy disaster movies, and they are a bit of a mixed bag, but they are, they're definitely fun. They're
fun.
Least. Yeah. First Independence Day in particular is awesome.
First Independence Day, amazing. It was some of the best Will Smith.
Yeah,
2012 is good as well. 2012.
I quite like 2012. I remember.
But 2012 is really
so
pushing
daft.
the dumb.
It's so daft.
It's really pushing the dumb factor to a new level. But it's good fun.
Yeah.
Yes. What else? It's good. I really like the mixing of practical effects.
Yeah.
Like they would have. There's obviously a lot of CG because we're dealing with a giant lizard, but they would kind of sell it quite well with like. When he bites down on a truck near the start, it cuts to inside the truck and you see the teeth coming through the walls.
Yeah, totally.
That was cool.
A lot of stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of like when he flips over a car, they'll actually flip a car, so it has the kind of weight of that.
It had a good medium,
cool.
and they did the thing that they obviously like saw from Jurassic Park, or I don't know if anyone was involved from ILM in this movie, but like where it's like that we can get CG to look pretty decent if we have it raining. Dark and just try to do anything they can to just not make it super bright and look like a PS1 game or something.
There's even a line right at the start where someone's like, "Oh, apparently it's meant to rain like this all week," and it's just a way for them to just have the entire movie be raining.
There's some like amazing looking CGI in it, but it only it only lasts for a few seconds. Like like the longer shots that you see. It's a bit but then there'll be like one shot or a couple shots that it flicks through and you're like, oh, they spent loads of time on that, but they just don't have the budget to do that for the whole thing.
Yeah, they use it pretty cleverly, especially in the first half. They kind of limit how much you see him, and it's quite effective. There's a lot of just his feet that you see. You don't see his face for quite a while.
I don't know if you see all of them in one shot, to be honest, in the whole movie.
There's some shots where you see most of him at least, but yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like 90% of them. You never actually do get a full body shot, actually.
I don't think you do. No. And like Sean, you were saying that he's quite a lot smaller than the other Godzilla.
Yeah, I noticed that when he was like pissing about in New York, that he's a lot shorter than the buildings. But then when you look at like say the 2014 one, even the original ones, they are massive.
Yeah, they're eclipsing the buildings, aren't they? Whereas he was just kind of the same height.
He was roughly the same height as the buildings, whereas like 2014 and
it's probably
some of the original ones as well.
They probably did that so that he could interact with the characters on the ground more. Like if they made them just obtusely large, then they wouldn't be able to like chase the car and like stick his head through a tunnel or. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It makes
so
sense,
that's probably why they made him more dinosaur-like rather than Godzilla-like.
I was trying to find a height comparison.
He is just more like a big T-Rex, isn't he?
He's literally just a
Pretty
giant
much.
T-Rex.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a big T-Rex.
Let me
That's
check.
the thing. That's the thing that this one does more than the others is that you get a sense that this one is like a mutated lizard, you know, like whereas like older Godzilla is a bit more of like he's a thing that's been around for a long time, and you know, like
So I've got a
like
height difference, right? Godzilla from the American movie is 60 meters tall, right?
Okay.
Godzilla from 2014 is 355 feet tall. Which is...
What's that in meters compared to?
That is 108 meters tall.
Right,
so twice the size.
Or 40 meters bigger then.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, and you do get like that's one thing that the 2014 Godzilla movie does really well is the sense of scale of him is pretty crazy.
They don't do the fire breathing as well, do they? In this one either.
In this one, no,
not the
because Godzilla
breath.
normally was it blue flame?
Yeah,
hyper breath,
which is the best part of the 2014 one when he breathes fire into that thing's mouth and then his neck melts. It's awesome.
I was actually just. It's funny that we're watching Godzilla.
Atomic breath, that's what it's called.
Yesterday I was just watching a clip on YouTube that was a Ready Player One scene with the Iron Giant fighting Mechagodzilla.
I love that scene.
It's so good. It's just such a fun scene.
Yeah, I've not actually seen Ready Player One.
You should. It's
I
fun.
love that movie. It's one of my favourite movies.
It's really good. It's heavy CGI, but it's fun.
Oh yeah.
I tried to watch it once and I got about 20 minutes in and stopped, but part of that was I was watching it while on a plane on one of those tiny screens, and it just kind of like it slowly dawned on me like this is not the place to watch this movie.
No, that's
Simon Pegg's in it as well. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
Spielberg called in a lot of favors to get all of the licensing for that movie. By the way,
I know. How did he do that?
Because he owns half of them.
Yeah, because he's Spielberg. That's how he did that.
He owns half of them already.
Only he could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Other positives before I think we should move on to the negatives in a little bit. We'll kind of focus on like why this movie doesn't work as well as some others.
Yeah.
But for now, some of the positives. I really like the miniatures. There's quite a few shots involving like.
I was wondering if there's miniatures.
Yeah, well, there's like a crash boat at the start, and there's this shot where it's entirely CG, but then there's another shot where they have like a miniature of it with like CG people walking on it and things like that.
Yeah.
There's the scene on the pier where there's a guy fishing, and then this huge thing comes through the water.
Yeah.
The guy is added in, and the entire pier is a miniature, and they've just kind of blown it up and then filmed it in slow motion, so it kind of feels like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's cool.
I like that stuff.
That's cool.
By the way, that scene is awesome. Like just regardless of the quality of the rest of this movie, that scene is amazing.
Totally.
The head slowly coming out of the water.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so done. That's like the first time you actually see any part of Godzilla as well in this movie.
Yeah, it's really cool. One of my favorite lines is from Hank Azaria when he first sees it, and he just goes, "That is large."
yeah, that's so good.
Large boy.
And then he just starts chasing after it like an absolute madman. That is large.
Yeah,
and it's such an obviously like overdubbed bit as well. Like you don't see his mouth saying it either. You just see him like scramble and doing stuff, and then you just hear that is large.
He a big boy.
Yeah, I I love the kind of coincidentalness of some of the plot happening in this. Though, like I love that Hank Azaria gets involved in the sort of final sort of chase of the movie because he sees Matthew Broderick shouting at his friend and decides to follow his taxi in his van so that he can beat him up. I don't know, like, 'cause he didn't seem to have a plan. He's just following him.
It just seems like he's investigating what he's up to.
Yeah,
maybe because it's probably because he works for the newspaper, so he's probably trying to, because he knows he's part of the military or whatever.
I guess, but it does seem like he's just like, you shout at my friend, I'm going to follow you to the airport and then beat you up. You know?
He could 100% beat up Matthew Broderick.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. But,
absolutely. Be pummeled.
Yeah. So I like that. There's a few things like that where just kind of like the plot moves forwards through like a series of just like things having to line up in quite a specific way.
Yeah.
And, you know,
kind of funny.
And Jean Reno is just having an absolute blast in this film as well, isn't he? Just every shot of him, he's just smiling and just like he's having a great time.
Yes.
I love the scene when they're trying to get into the tunnels, and it's just like they're all the French guys are chewing gum because it makes them look more American, and he does an Elvis impression.
That might be my favorite scene in the whole movie. That's hilarious. There's so many good comedic moments in this, and that's kind of it can be hard for like a big budget action thing. So
yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, like when you think about it, though, Independence Day is the same. It's hilarious. So he's obviously got a knack, a director for making. Do you know what I mean? For the good comedy as well.
Yeah, yeah. Sean, you look like you've just spotted something.
I'm just reading up facts for like later on. I've got a couple that I want to open up the negative part with, but this one I found particularly hilarious. So Dean Devlin, who was the writer, if I remember rightly,
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
I'll just read it as a quote. Dean Devlin maintains the tagline for this movie was "Size does matter," which was meant to simply differentiate it from the movie Jurassic Park. Hence, in the original trailer, they had a museum shot where Godzilla crushes a T-Rex skeleton, and they took it out for obvious reasons. On that subject, a lot of the advertising was really weird. Like they had a bus that had like it read on the side like his foot is as long as this bus, or a big billboard that's like he's as tall as this billboard. It's like, all right, okay, like come on. Anyway,
yeah.
The ads became a big focus for the backlash for the film. Most notable was a temporary page set up by the programmers for the website for Star Wars: The Phantom Menace that mocked the Godzilla green glow and it read at the bottom, "Plot does matter."
Nice. It's ironic that the Phantom Menace guys did that. But yeah.
Another backlash came from Spielberg's DreamWorks trailer for Small Soldiers, where it had a giant lizard being hogtied by a group of the action figures that read, "Size doesn't matter."
That's good. I like that.
Oh, I love this. I love just discovering wee random things like this.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that this movie does have is I love the movie poster.
Oh, the poster's great.
The giant foot.
The giant foot with the Godzilla and the green like hue in the back. I think that's a brilliant poster. I don't know
and then
the quote is "Size does matter."
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
One thing that's funny about that though is that like Godzilla is not the scale of that foot. Like if you look at that foot on the
they
poster,
made it way bigger.
Yeah, like that is ridiculous size on that poster. But
wow, I've never realised that the helicopters are like that size compared to the.
Oh, they're teeny.
Yeah.
That's probably how Godzilla should be.
Yeah, like that's more
it's
to scale
closer,
what you'd expect for Godzilla. Whereas like his foot in the film, it's crushing like taxis, like one taxi at a time. You know, like what else is good about it? The score's kind of great.
I love the score.
Score's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, I actually don't know who did it. I forgot to check that up beforehand. Sean, pull that up. Do that thing.
Okay.
I've got it here. It is David Arnold and Michael Lloyd.
Okay. Don't know.
So a dynamic duo there.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was cool. They were clearly going for the kind of vibe of the older kind of like Godzilla kind of big dramatic.
Do you know who would have been better in this movie than Matthew Broderick?
Who?
Jeff Goldblum. 90s Jeff Goldblum in a Godzilla movie. That's what I want.
Actually, I would love to have seen him try and talk about worms.
I was gonna say this.
Nah, Jeff Goldblum's way too cool. You can't make Jeff Goldblum not cool. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reproduces asexually.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fish.
Either that or the whimsical Jeff Goldblum was like, that's a lot of fish.
We'll all work on our Jeff Goldblum impressions for the next one.
Yeah. This might be an interesting thing to kind of tease us into the more negative side of this. An interesting fact about the film. There is actually only in total 11 minutes of Godzilla on screen in the film, which is
interesting,
surprising. However, with all the baby Godzillas, there's actually more monster scenes in this than any other Godzilla movie.
Yeah, because they all add up. Yeah.
Which is I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that either way, but I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. Although related to that, the movie was never test screened, which is very common. If you don't know, home movies are before they're released, they're usually shown to a select, a small audience who all have to sign heavy NDAs to never reveal what's going on in the movie.
Yeah.
And this movie never got that, which
bizarre.
You can tell
the studio immediately regretted that, and it does seem to lead to some of the backlash where people were expecting it to look like Godzilla, and then it didn't look like Godzilla.
So do you think that if they did show it, do you think they would have changed the design?
Oh, absolutely.
That seems to be what they were saying about it. The studio was like, we shouldn't have done that because we would have had time to change the design. Maybe we would have had time to change the design slightly before the movie came out, seeing it's mostly CGI.
I have a very interesting thing about the design of Godzilla. So Toho Studios, who originally owned Godzilla, they gave the American creators a 75-page dossier on what they couldn't and couldn't do with the Godzilla character.
Oh, really?
The following rules, right? This is genuine. The following rules were: Godzilla cannot eat people, only fish. He has to have 3 rows of dorsal plates, no more or less than 3 toes on his feet or 4 fingers on his hands, and he cannot die in the movie.
Okay, you break that one.
Almost all of these points were disregarded, but according to Patrick Totopoulos, who did the design for the creature, the only specific instructions that Roland Emmerich ever gave him was that Godzilla should be able to run incredibly fast and shouldn't resemble a dinosaur too closely.
Right, okay.
Well, he looks exactly like a T-Rex.
Guys, you kind of fucked it.
I know. There's a lot. Like, does he eat a person? I don't remember him eating a person.
He doesn't eat people.
He doesn't eat people.
The babies eat people.
Yeah.
But,
what's all about then? The babies eat people.
Yeah. And he definitely dies at the end.
Spoilers.
He definitely dies because they do the fake die and then they do the real die, so they can't have two.
They kill him twice.
Oh yeah. They have his heart effect stop in the movie. Like you hear him die.
They really try hard to kill him in this movie, and they succeed. And you're supposed to be happy about it.
And that's where Final Wars happens.
So this is one of my kind of my big problems with this movie, and I feel like it. I think to some extent, in a Godzilla movie, you're kind of meant to root for Godzilla to some extent, because
I think you're 100% meant to root for Godzilla.
Yeah, I don't know about the original one because, like I say, the original one is very much meant to be a metaphor for nuclear war.
Yeah.
But all the sequels present him as a force for good. He's like a protector of Earth from these other bigger threats, and
like a nature guardian.
He doesn't really bother with us. We're just there. We mean nothing to him. He's just here to protect his land. And
so,
and then this movie kind of ignores all that to some extent.
All of that.
It's not got enough of the nuclear stuff to really go down that route. But it's also not silly enough to go down the big, Godzilla versus route. it's kind of left in this weird middle ground where it's just kind of fun.
I do kind of feel like if, like, you can tell they went down the baby route of having loads of Godzillas, because you'll probably find that, like, duplicating technology was invented where you could just, like, copy and paste loads of, it's easier to scale down their big Godzilla and copy and paste loads than to come up with, like, do you know what I mean? Than to redesign and animate a whole different character to oppose Godzilla to then make him look like the good guy so that we can root for him.
Totally,
so it's easier to just, like, make loads of wee tiny duplicates and, like, that's kind of what I could see. And Sean pointed out at one bit when they were running away from all the babies, is that they were all literally moving synchronized. Like, they were like, they were all just like, they just clicked play on the animation, and they just all went.
They're doing the like they're walking down an alleyway, clicking their fingers. And,
doom.
Billy Maguire.
They've got this great like chicken run where they're kind of bouncing with every step, and like, it's
so good.
It's kind of adorable.
It's cute until they eat people, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah. And then on the sort of like Protector of Earth thing, they don't really know how they want to feel about that, because like, it's a very Americanized version of it where, like, so he turns up and he's destroying the city. He's, they never mention it, but he's probably killed thousands of people in his first scene alone. Just throughout New York, so they're like, okay, we have to stop him. We have to kill this thing, or at least get rid of it. And then, you have Matthew Broderick's character, who's like, he has these babies that, that are there, and he's just trying to look after his kids. So we should kill them all. And then, the babies die. And then the babies die. And there's this part where you're meant to feel sad because, my babies are dead. And then they immediately are like, right, okay, run away. And then, and they bring in the missiles to kill him. And then they kill him. And he's dying, and you're meant to feel sad again, and it's just like, make up your mind.
I know.
Oh God!
Do you not think it's weird as well that, like, the Totopoulos guy figured out that the Zilla was like asexual or had babies or whatever with a human pregnancy test?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
like, what the fuck is that all about?
He'd have been better with a reptilian.
He literally just went into the fucking local corner shop, picked up some Pregnacare pregnancy test, chucked it in and whatever it was, and then was like, plot unraveled.
Yeah, he just stood underneath Godzilla for a long time until he peed.
That's a lot of piss.
It's pretty mixed messaging on like how you're meant to feel about Godzilla. There's definitely a sort of conflict between they're wanting to have the Protector of Earth thing going on, but also look at the American soldiers being brave, and like it's
weird.
It's a mixed bag for that. It doesn't really know what it wants to say. Which I think is a large part of the backlash, like, between him not really being Godzilla and, the fact that it has absolutely no central message at all.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they thought it was okay to kill him off, because it's not actually Godzilla. It's like, it's like Bobzilla.
There's actually a really fascinating little paragraph I've just found based on the name of Godzilla, this Zilla, and the like previous versions, because there was a big legal issue between Toho Studios and Sony over it. So I'll just read out the paragraph and then we can kind of go over it. So a different version of this Godzilla became part of the official Japanese Godzilla mythos under the name of Zilla, which is the one that appears in Final Wars, as one of the enemies. This decision has caused many confusion among fans and especially lay people with no idea what that means.
Just normal people that don't know about it.
Your average person.
Okay. Could be is that Zilla? Is that the name of it, or is he like a parody of the Godzilla that the Americans made?
And do you not think it's funny that everyone knows it's called Godzilla? Like, what is that all about?
What's that?
Yeah, I think
like everyone just knows. Everyone's just like, that's Godzilla. It's like
Godzilla is
okay,
kind of like a genuine term. It literally translates to God Lizard. God Lizard.
That's the thing, that you have the Japanese guy at the start of the film who's
Gojira.
like, Gojira, and like I think the joke is that Americans have always called it Godzilla. So they just the point is that like that guy just kind of called it Gojira.
And then said Godzilla.
Yeah, and the Americans get it wrong, so then everyone calls it that. I think that's the joke. But
believe it or not, see on set, it's one of the other facts that's on here. All of the cast members had a T-shirt that says "It's Gojira, you moron" on it. And I thought that was funny. Anyway, the rest of this paragraph. Toho Studios have said that they consider this movie's rendition of the monster as a genuine version of Godzilla and not a separate monster. Even the official monster icon from the Japanese like the Japanese release and the American monster release, all called it Godzilla. So like the Japanese version still calls it that one. It's due to a licensing contract between Toho and Sony, which states that all media and merchandise related to this film must carry the Godzilla name. However, Toho have stipulated that they are not directly tied to this movie, so they can, go, oh, we didn't make this movie if people didn't like it.
Yeah, totally.
It gets better. Matters got further complicated when Zilla, the American one, the copyright for that expired in 2019. So effectively that means that the Zilla that's in the 98 one doesn't actually exist anymore in the canon universe.
Right, so it's not canon anymore.
Yeah.
Was it ever canon in the first place though?
It was up until 2019.
Yeah, like yeah, that's kind of what John's saying, is like kind of like in this kind of weird alternate way, but yeah, it's
I thought that was really fascinating because it's like this Godzilla existed right up until 2019, and then they went, it doesn't exist anymore. It never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
because that was Sony when they lost the rights, and that's when the new Godzillas came out. Is that right? Well, the 2014 one, wasn't it? Yeah, 2014.
Yeah,
but I mean, like
2014. Yeah,
the new canon. I mean, like for the the MonsterVerse, like with Kong in that as well.
Yeah, like Gareth Evans definitely. The Gareth Evans one definitely feels like it's like, let's do the American version, but try and make it a better quality movie, which it is. Like, it's a much better made film. It's just
more respectful as well.
Not as funny, is it?
It's not as funny. It's not quite as engaging. Like, the human character is weird. Like, as much as the human characters in this are mostly quite annoying.
Yeah,
like, you do have more. Like,
you relate to them a bit more.
Yeah.
There's just more of an arc.
Yeah, whereas everyone in the Gareth Evans one just feels everything's so dark and serious, and everything we have to take everything very seriously, and very, very dramatic.
So it's just not as fun. Yeah. It's like they've got to realise there's lightheartedness to a big giant monster flick. Do you know what I mean? These are essentially big budget B movies. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah, no, definitely. I quite enjoyed the it's definitely a joke, but it's a very, very dumb one, where like the first time the helicopters chase Godzilla through the city, and also that's the start of Godzilla doing fake outs, which we had a lot of fun with. Like, he keeps somehow, like, even
disappearing.
Even though he's a 108-foot lizard, he keeps somehow disappearing and appearing in front of people that are facing him. And
so good.
But yeah, no, I love that the three helicopters chasing him don't work. So then the next time it happens, they do the exact same scene, but they just send all the helicopters. Yeah. There are so many helicopters in that scene.
It just looks like really 90s Star Wars. Like, it's like,
like the trench run.
Yeah, it's the trench run, but like everything's like green lights with like 90s dashboards. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's hilarious, that shot where like he just runs through the street and then just like 50 helicopters all appear on one street.
And like you pointed out during the movie, they never like aim and shoot; they just shoot the entire time.
Like, he's like disappearing around corners, and like in between being like aiming at him, they're just
still shooting at him.
They're probably just like shitting themselves. Like they just like can't let go of the thing. Oh my god, what is going on?
Yeah, it's very funny.
Does he even ever knock out a helicopter at the sky?
Yeah, he takes 3 of them.
Yeah,
take a few out?
That first scene, he kills all of them, if I remember right.
Okay, right.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. He does kill people. I mean, he doesn't eat them, but he does.
He doesn't eat them, but he does
kill
kills
people.
Yeah.
You fucked up, Sony. Toho are coming for your ass.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the CG, like we were talking about earlier, it mostly holds up.
Yeah.
It does. For a movie that's 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, there's some slightly dodgy green screen effects occasionally, and anytime there's fire, the fire seems to be pretty bad.
Fire was terrible throughout.
Yeah, it seems like they've got like a stock fire effect and just kind of stick it over the like After Effects.
Yeah,
style.
it never seemed like it latched onto the things. It just kind of floated by itself. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it never looked like it was emanating out of the thing that was supposed to be on fire.
Yeah, and even Godzilla himself, like you say, he's mostly shot in the dark, in the rain, which does make it a bit easier. But like, there was a slight problem occasionally with like whenever he kind of stepped, the physics felt a bit weird, where like he wasn't quite heavy enough, almost like His jawline always prevailed though through all that. His jawline was excellent. Yeah, that's true.
Excellent jaw game.
Yeah, he's got
definitely keeps a few Mentos on him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Godzilla, King of the Chins.
The Crimson Chins.
The Crimson Chins.
Yeah.
See if anybody gets that reference.
Yeah.
Followed second by Buzz Lightyear.
There are so many flashing lights in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this a 90s thing? Why is every scene lit by a light that is like hanging on a fan, like a ceiling fan? Like,
it makes you a bit dizzy, doesn't it? Watching it. Do you not think?
Yeah.
I felt quite sickly towards the end.
Yeah.
I think sorry, continue.
Just like even the military sort of headquarters, they're like watching everything unfolding on the screens, and the only light in the room is shining through the ceiling, and it's just kind of moving around the room constantly.
I think obviously when they were shooting the whole movie, they were just like, right, let's make this super moody and like, do you know what I mean? Like
mood lighting,
ambient lighting, and like,
yeah.
I guess they just didn't want to make it feel. I don't know. They just wanted to make it feel something different. I don't know.
Dark.
Yeah, totally.
Dark and flashing lights.
Grungy,
they were going for Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a funny tone shift because it's not that serious of a movie.
Yeah,
like,
it looks serious. It's
no,
weird.
It's got a really serious tone, like with the cinematography and stuff, and then the dialogue's like comedy.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The dialogue.
Some of the dialogue is pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Although that's a lot of fish is,
it's a classic.
That's a
genius.
lot of
The hold when he just doesn't say anything. He's just like,
oh yeah, no, Neil just looks at him like, are you serious?
Yeah. And my absolute favorite line in the movie is between Hank Azaria and Matthew Broderick. Hank Azaria is like, where did you find this guy? And Matthew Broderick just goes, he's from France.
and this was just right after, throughout the whole movie, we'd just be like making jokes every time he was on the screen saying how French he was.
Did you know I'm French? Have I mentioned that I'm French?
I like omelets and baguettes. Oh god. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and the other thing, I guess, the kind of main problem with it is that, like I mentioned earlier, every character is quite annoying.
Yeah.
Like even the most likable characters have something that's just a bit like, could you not?
There's not one likable character in the movie.
Nah.
Not one.
There's likable actors.
Yeah.
Like Hank Azaria and Jean Reno those characters. But
they play annoying characters. Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Even like the blonde lassie.
I forgot her name.
Like you would have thought her, her pal's the kind of like bitchy one that's kind of like
the
very
proper
New York
York
and kind of. You would have thought they would have made her like a more likable character, but even then it's like she stood him up, she stole his tape, she like what did she do right? Exactly. I mean, it's like come on, give a break.
And Matthew Broderick's like, you were my friend, I trusted you, and you were like,
why?
Why did you no reason?
It would be perfectly fine for you to sock her in the face. I'm kidding.
Jesus.
But like, she generally does so much to him, and he still goes, "I trusted you." Like, why? Come on.
You just re-met 8 minutes ago. Like seriously.
Yeah.
I know. And then at the end, she's like, "Get in my belly."
Yeah.
Their relationship is not that, believable.
You can tell that they're both not like they've not got that much depth as human beings. They're just like they're on like
no
8th
chemistry.
level of instinct that they're going on here.
I know, totally. I would
Primal.
much rather have Hank Azaria as the lead, if I'm honest. Like,
that would have been a good movie.
As a different character.
you could have him essentially as the Matthew Broderick character, but just
That's what I mean.
Less nerdy, I suppose.
just with a bit more character to him.
I think the only problem there was like he wasn't like he's not an A-list actor. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing.
I guess no.
Like he's
a
good
television actor, yeah.
He's a good supporting role actor, but he's not like a big name that could like the studio obviously thought that he could carry the whole movie to have on the poster and all that.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Broderick was definitely a bigger name at that point, like, with Ferris Bueller and things like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, although on Ferris Bueller, why was Matthew Broderick running so casually when being chased by the baby Godzilla? It's like,
It's so cash.
out for a leisurely stroll.
It'd be weird because it would do a close up on his legs, and he'd be running really slow, and the wee Godzillas were like really fast, but they never caught up with him.
I know. It's really, and it's just like you were Ferris Bueller. You spent half of that movie running around. Like you can run. Like,
You can run. I know he's very nonchalant.
yeah, you get the impression that he was told just like run away now, and there was nothing there. He had no reference point to what was chasing him, so they just filmed him running, and then they're just like, well, we'll fix it later. It's fine.
Oh,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I know he's very expressionless throughout the movie. Yeah, he's not very. He never looks scared. He never looks.
Yeah, he always looks really like surprised by what's going on.
Yeah,
or he doesn't, or he just doesn't understand what's happening. Like big French guy.
He's just always like, mildly confused.
It's just like, all right. This is my life now.
Yeah. I am running out of notes. You guys have anything?
I've just got facts.
I don't know if I've got any more to add. I mean, overall, I would say that it holds up better than I thought. Definitely better than I thought. Last time I saw it was a good few years ago.
Yeah.
Definitely better than I thought. I think it's still a lot better CGI than a lot of movies that come out in the last 10 years. I mean, obviously CGI has gotten a lot better, but I do think that considering it was made in 1998, it's held up.
There's moments that still look like legit, like they could be in a movie now. Definitely.
Yeah.
And good practical effects and stuff. And,
and you can never hound on a movie that much for that time. Do you know what I mean? For the CGI, because it's like at the time that was when you went to see that in cinemas, it would have probably been like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Do you know what I mean?
No, totally,
like for the time.
Absolutely a new thing. So
yeah, exactly. And I really don't hate the velociraptors in the kitchen section with the baby Godzillas, which by the way, that's absolutely what they're doing. Like,
100%.
So influenced by Jurassic Park.
100%.
Right down to like the windows and the doors with one of their heads like right up against it. And
I would just call this a dinosaur movie. I wouldn't even call this a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, it's just a giant.
It doesn't really have
movie.
anything akin to Godzilla other than he comes out of the water at the start
and the nuclear explosions.
Yeah, which is lightly touched on. Yeah, but no, I do like that section, even though I know a lot of people don't like that section, but I think it's good. I think it's well done. There's some great sound design in this as well.
Score's great.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to gripe on.
No,
overall.
it's just
the biggest thing for me is just the length and the editing.
Yeah, the length is exhausting.
Yeah, it's definitely too long, and that is definitely a problem. If your giant dinosaur movie starts to feel boring, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only reason they had the baby Godzillas at the end was to do the cliffhangery bit at the end, and even then I don't even think you need that bit. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Other than they were talking about the nest and where it's going and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, it doesn't even feel like, even if they had turned up there and it was just the eggs and they didn't hatch and chase them, I don't even feel like that would have made the movie any worse.
Yeah, that whole last what was it, 40 minutes or so?
Oh, easily. Yeah, it was close to an hour. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
it was like an hour. It was like an hour and like 10 to go, and we thought we'd gone through most of the movie. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I know, it got to that point where we're like, right, we're going to go to Madison Square Garden. I was like,
Ready for
God
Wolfpack?
damn it, I'm not ready for more Wolfpack.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, if the writing and the characters were better, you wouldn't feel it as much. But like there was just like I do think like a lot of people just want the Godzilla movies to just be Godzilla destroying things, and then like I think you do need the human element of it. Like,
You
that
do.
isn't that
You
is
need the
important.
interaction. Yeah.
Yeah. However, it's very hard to care about what these humans care about.
Yeah.
because they're all awful people.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah, we just wanted to watch Smokey eat.
Yeah, so that stuff really bogs down the first half. So when you get to the exciting second half, it doesn't quite have the impact you want. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
I've just got some facts to end on.
Yeah,
Trivia.
John, give us a couple of facts to end on.
Despite the less than expected box office performance, this movie still made more money worldwide than any other American movie based on a foreign film. This was held for 16 years until Godzilla 2014 came out.
And that made more.
That made way more.
That is a big title to hold for
I
2
know.
decades.
Holy shit. 16 years they held that title for.
Yeah, okay.
So we were joking about the taxi thing. Well, I made a joke about the meter running.
Yeah.
The meter actually read $95.20. So it was about 60 miles of chase scene that we went through.
Wow. And I tell you what, it felt like it as well. God's sake. It went on ages, man. No wonder.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
That's great.
So as we know, the film created quite a lot of backlash from the fan base. Fans actually came up with a nickname to distinguish this Godzilla from the other ones, and it's called Gino, which stands for Godzilla in name only.
Gino?
Called it Gino.
That's amazing.
Oh, Gino.
Wee Gino.
Also, I've got three more.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg actually tried to talk Emmerich out of actually directing and making the film.
What, did,
Right, okay.
did Spielberg want to do this?
No, he was trying to convince Emmerich not to do it.
I would. Oh man, I want a Spielberg Godzilla movie.
I also want
I
that.
don't.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the scene where the guy reading the newspaper has the headphones on and he gets really surprised by Godzilla picking up the truck?
Yeah.
Apparently that actor didn't know that they were filming. And
Oh,
so
wow.
the crew started shooting paintball guns at the truck to get that reaction out of him.
That's amazing.
And
I love
the
they just had
last-
paintball guns on the set.
Yeah,
like
where the fuck did you get
Salivate.
paintball guns from?
Yeah.
And the very last one, a very small action figure of the alien from Independence Day can be seen in the broadcast booth in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's cool. I like
Nice.
that. That's cool.
It's a nice wee one to end on. A nice wee happy one.
Nice. Okay, so to wrap things up, how would we score this movie out of 10?
Oh,
Sean, I'm going to come to you first.
see, I'm trying not to think of it in the nostalgic way because I was blinded by nostalgia when I was watching it for the first wee bit.
Uh-huh.
So from a critical standpoint, it's all right. It's not great. I'd probably give it maybe a 4.5, 5 ish.
Okay, interesting.
4.5,
Okay.
I'll say. I think 4.5 is more
Yeah.
a thing.
It's not the worst monster movie that I've seen, and it's not the best.
It's just
Yeah.
cheese. It's pure cheese and fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. I won't.
It is a lot of fun.
But as
Yeah.
from a
I'm going to give
critical
it a
point-
6.
I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, interesting. Okay.
What about you?
Yeah. I kind of instinctivally want to give it a... Alec, are you frozen right now? Can you hear me?
You froze for a second for me.
Oh, okay, cool.
Technical issues.
Cool, that's fine. You give it a 6. Cool, okay.
Yeah, 6.
I instinctively, I kind of want to say 6, but I'm very aware of the fact that means I am putting it 1 point less than Onward.
Yeah.
And Onward is a much better film than this.
Oh, 100%. I'm
So-
I'm trying to rate it against other movies of its kind, monster movies.
As a monster movie, it would be.
I think if I was
lower.
to review it as a movie in general over plot and all that, I'd probably give it like a 3.5.
Wow, okay, that's harsh, but
Or a 4 maybe, but I'm gonna stick with 6. I'm gonna say it's a fun movie. If you don't look
Yeah.
that much into it and just enjoy it, it's meant for kind of kids, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
what is the purpose of the movie? Do you know what I mean? It's just meant to be a big American action flick.
Yeah, totally. I am probably going to settle around a 5.5. Or
Yeah,
maybe
that's
a
fair.
5, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's, you know, it's very much a kind of like, this is a good, fun, distracting time, but I'm not going to watch it loads.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Like, yeah, no, I'm glad I'm getting this react. Like, it's just like, it's okay. Rather than.
I feel that it's a lot better than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I was worried we were going to see it and it's going to be terrible. Because like I say, 15% of Rotten Tomatoes. That is
I know,
not
it's grim. That's unfair.
Like,
I think that's genuinely
it's
unfair.
definitely not that bad.
That just feels like the Godzilla community are being a bit too overbearing.
Possibly, yeah. We should definitely watch the original film at some point on this.
Absolutely.
Just so we can get a bit more sense of perspective and maybe then reevaluate our scores today based on that.
Yeah,
But-
Probably will.
Yeah. Whether that's higher or lower, who knows?
yeah, I mean, maybe. But yes, all in all, Godzilla 1998. It's
okay.
It's fine.
A bit of a
Matthew
lackluster
Broderick,
ending.
reevaluate your life, man. That was a terrible performance. What
It
that
was
all
not
about?
good. It was not good.
This is a bit of a lackluster ending, if I'm honest.
Although, to be fair, I do not think that Matthew Broderick cares about a movie performance he did in 1998 to a movie that nobody liked.
No. He's there. He's just like, where is my check? Please, someone give me my check.
Check.
I would like my check, please.
I want to
Check
go home.
for Totopoulos movie. Check.
I will,
Totopoulos.
I will take my check now, please. Yes. Yep. Godzilla. Yep.
Yep.
that's that.
We watched the movie. It exists, and
Yeah.
we scored it accordingly.
We did indeed.
Should we talk about what's happening next?
So yes, so if you liked, let us know what you thought of Godzilla 1998. If you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at saltrivermovieclub@gmail.com. You can get in touch on our Facebook page, and now you can get in touch on our Instagram because we have one now. We finally decided what to call it because the guy that owns Salt River Pictures Instagram was not willing to give it up. He just didn't message me back. So we are on Instagram at Salt River Pictures Official.
Boom.
Yes. No punctuation or anything like that. It's just Salt River Pictures Official. So go follow us there. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff on that. I'm going to anytime we're watching a movie, we'll probably post a little thing, just like, hey, I'm watching this. Like, what?
Yeah, totally.
Movie? And that kind of thing. And it'll be a good place to keep updated on.
We can read your comments out on the show as well.
Yeah, well, if you want to send us something about Godzilla, we'll read it out next week or in 2 weeks.
And you can always comment on the post there and let us know stuff if you don't email.
Absolutely, yeah.
Messages on Instagram. Abuse the shit out of us.
Yeah, and the Facebook and the Instagram are a good place to keep up with our other projects as well, like Salt River Pictures, which is this podcast is a Salt River Pictures production. Is our movie production company. We make our music videos through it for our band, Salt River Shakedown, which you definitely also check out on Facebook and Instagram and all that. Yeah. But we are building towards making short films and that kind of thing of our own because we all have an interest in that kind of thing. So you also, another bit of news for you, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we also have now. Yeah, which is
just all the things.
Just Salt River Pictures on YouTube. You can actually listen to the podcast there. Every episode will now be going up on there as well. The first few episodes are already up right now.
Awesome.
Along with both of the music videos. They have like sadly very few views because obviously we've not promoted the channel yet. So please go and get that. Go and give them some views.
Yeah. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, do all those stuff.
All that stuff.
You can also subscribe to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review there. Follow us on Spotify. All that stuff.
All that stuff. Definitely. You should definitely give us a review.
If your comments are funny enough, we will read them out several times.
Yes, indeed. Now, most important thing, we we will now tell you what to watch for the next episode. So a couple little bonus things coming. As we mentioned in the last episode, The Mandalorian. That episode may already be out by the time you're hearing this. Not sure yet, but it's coming. If not, it's coming out very soon. The first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. We're also going to be doing an extra little thing, just little 20-minute episodes every few weeks on WandaVision, the Marvel show, which I feel like we forgot to mention earlier in what we were watching.
We did. Mention it now though. Kept it a surprise.
Yes, indeed. And because we are loving it, and we want to do sort of just a sort of roundup of our theories and of what's going on and the things like that. So we'll have an episode on the first 4 episodes of WandaVision coming. Probably out by the time you hear this. So yes. However, most importantly, next film, 2 weeks from today. If you're listening to this on the release day of this episode, today was Sean's suggestion. Thank you, Sean, for bringing us Godzilla. You. We had a fun time.
I had fun.
Despite it not being great, we had a fun time.
Yes.
Now it is my turn to bring you guys a movie.
Do we even know what this is?
No.
You two don't know what
we
this is.
don't know what I mean. Sean don't know what this is. This is a reveal.
This is a wee surprise.
A live reveal.
As far as I know, neither of you have watched this yet.
Ooh, okay.
We are going to be watching Parasite.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go.
Yes,
I'm excited. That'll be a good one.
Parasite, Bong Joon-ho's Parasite is on Amazon Prime. It actually is this time, unlike Tenacious D.
Good.
Are you sure,
I have checked. I have made sure.
Okay.
If not, there may be a little edit in here somewhere.
There will be. It is on Prime. It is on Prime.
No, it definitely is. So yes, check that out. It's a fun time. Try and avoid knowing anything about the movie before you're going into it. It's that kind of movie, so just avoid it.
Unless you've already seen it and you just want to hear us blab about it.
Yes, absolutely. If you've already seen it, please
feel free to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is pretty much that.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank
Follow
you.
us on social media and all that stuff.
We love you.
Yes, and please let us know what you thought of Godzilla, and remember to watch Parasite.
Yes.
And Mando and WandaVision if you have.
Watch all the things.
This is your homework.
Yes, all the things, all the time, and share us with your friends and all that stuff. And I think that's us.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It is.
we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. That's a lot of fish.
Hello there. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Stay on target.
This podcast is brought to you by Salt River Pictures.